To make Baytown a better place for all residents, our community has to be accessible to all residents. That's part of the Access Baytown initiative led by Brian Moran that includes a newly formed advisory committee.
The formation of the committee was about seeking public input and feedback on what are our barriers to accessibility to our programs, services, activities, as well as our facilities, playgrounds, and infrastructure that we provide to our residents.
The Access Baytown Advisory Committee is made up of important area stakeholders from Harris County Transit, TxDOT, Lee College, and Goose Creek CISD. Each one has a vested interest in helping Baytown's disabled.
Accessibility for everybody is a necessity.
The ADA standards help everybody.
I think that everyone that is on the committee is dedicated to Baytown, and that we want to make sure that we are here for everyone.
Helping the disabled really hits home for committee members like Sherry Thomas with Goose Creek CISD.
It's really opened my eyes to know that there are things that need to be done, and I do have disabled family members, and so that just brings it to my attention even more.
For Sherry, this new committee and the information shared has already been beneficial.
I pick out things and I can see things after our discussion. It's like, oh, that is a difficult place to maneuver through, or how to get into this building, and that there are different things that are standing out now. And I did not know about that. Now, I did some from my family members because they would say some things, but knowing the extent of it is what opened my eyes a lot.
Access works for everybody. Not having accessibility doesn't work for everybody.
Christy Avalos with Accessology is a consultant for the Access Baytown Committee.
We're looking at everything. We've looked at every building and every park and every segment of sidewalk and every program that is offered in every department, and we're looking at everything to develop the city's ADA transition plan. And then we'll take all of this data and we'll put it into a good usable format that makes it a living document.
The first goal of Access Baytown is for disabled and those who work with the disabled to fill out an online survey at BaytownEngage.com.
No, we don't live in their world. And what we might think as an able-bodied person, what I might think is their highest priority, and they might come in and go, that's not even on my list. And so it allows us to prioritize the remediation process.
Access Baytown advisors and committee members want as many people as possible to fill out the survey.
Because without their voice, without their information, without their input, we're not going to be able to address those concerns and those issues that they may face on a day-to-day basis.
Well, with that survey, there's things we don't know. So if they complete that survey, we know where the problems are, and then we can address them.
If you don't raise a voice, or if you pass it on to somebody else, say, oh, somebody else will do it next time, the issue may never become known. That's what they're living and having to deal with, and we want to know those. We want to know them because we want to help make, living in Baytown the best that it can be.
The survey will wrap up October 31st, and the results will be shared with City Council and other city leaders by the end of the year or beginning of 2023. However, the committee's work will continue well into the future alongside those who need this help the most.
There's the letter of the law and there's the spirit of the law. And a lot of entities just want to follow the letter of the law and do as little as possible. And then some communities like Baytown just embrace it and say, look, this is a civil rights issue. People with disabilities have been put on the back burner for decades. I mean, this law has been in place for 32 years, and it's really just now starting to get momentum and get things like this going. So it's crucially important that they stay involved. It's crucially important that they're not afraid to give their opinions. And that they communicate to their constituents so that they get involved as well. If you're trying to build a community that people can move into in their 20s and 30s and still be there in their 80s and 90s and still be active members of civic life, then accessibility is the way to do that.
For more information on Access Baytown, visit baytown.org and take the survey at BaytownEngage.com.